Okay, guys and girls, welcome back to FTRL. We are here for GT2, or another week in GT2, should I say, where we are hitting the two tracks of Dragon Trail Gardens and Mount Panorama, also known as Bathurst, the world famous Bathurst circuit for the GT3 or GR3 race a bit later on. Joining me once again, as always, is my little sidekick, my little right hand man. It's Pagani. Good evening, buddy.
Good afternoon.
How are we doing?
Bit knackered with all that sunshine today, but yeah.
Not used to it all up there in Newcastle, are you, mate?
No, it's normally about 4 degrees and shirts off, but yeah. 27 up here today, so.
Well, we've got two very different circuits tonight, mate. We've got the Group 4 race at Dragon Trail Gardens, where we are currently now. So we've got just under 11 minutes to go. We'll get into that very, very soon. First thing I want to do, before I forget, because I do have a shocking memory, is actually send out a little congratulations. One of our admins, FTRL Mikey or Mike or just Mikey H as his gamer tag is on PlayStation, him and his lovely wife are expecting their second baby, and they've just found out today that it's going to be a little girl. So massive congratulations to them, two of the loveliest people you'll ever meet in your life, and I for one couldn't be more delighted for them. So I hope everybody will join me in congratulating those guys in the chat. He wasn't expecting me to say that, and I might have ruined it. He might have been trying to keep it from everybody, but sod it. The world knows now. So congratulations to you, Mike, and to you, Kate. So wish you all the very best with that. Now, the more important thing I hand Pagani is the racing tonight.
Ouch.
No, I'm joking. Right, well, we're currently on board with this man, SBY, who is your current championship leader. Now, he's on 30 points, 3 clear of FTRL Junkie Sport. Obviously, SBY picked up pole position and the win last week in Alsace for the first race of the season, and he came second in the Group 3 race at Autopolis. Now, talk to me about this. Do you think this is a track for the Alphas? How do you think these boys are going to approach it this week?
I mean, through testing, this was one of the tracks I did do most of the testing at, and it was Alfa Romeo Central. So,
right.
I mean, I've seen some of the times Donzo's doing in the pre-session practice, and it was quicker than the GT1 pole time last season. So,
right. Okay. So it is quite an Alfa Romeo based track then. This.
It is.
So yeah.
I've also seen that Donzo's now on 1,200 miles. So he's done 700 miles since last week's race.
Yeah. Christ. I mean, SPY is on 756. So I'm on board with him now. For those that can't see that, underneath your fuel gauge at the bottom of your screen, just about here, you can see that's how many miles that people have done in this particular car. So yes, right, so let's move on. So we obviously have got SPY, so the Alfa Romeos of him, Donzo and Peatman. The little trio will be looking to try and have another very strong week in the Alfa Romeo cars. What was pole last season, Pagani? Was it a 37.2?
It was a 37.222 set by Tom.
Set by Mr. T. Smith. Okay, so Donzo has basically matched that already on his first lap. So
yes.
There we go. So right, Citroen, let's talk about Junkie Sport. So last week he picked up his first ever win in FTRL, which came at Autopolis, which is one of the most difficult tracks on the game. It was quite a flawless performance, really, wasn't it?
It was indeed. He had a bit of a wiggle the first 2 laps, but after that he got his head down and no one could match him. He was in that zone that people get, and he was aware.
Exactly.
A bit unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, he's 3 points off the championship lead at the minute, so we would hope that he can carry on. Now, like I've said last week, we're going to be very honest with commentary this season. So, I mean, it's always going to try and be positive as always, but we're also going to talk about the alternative views. Now, you've got the likes of maybe Junkie Sport, SPY, Donzo, who have stereotypically always been in the top division of FTRL. Now, where those guys have come down, it's a different type of challenge for them this season, I think, where they've got to try and cope with being the lead cars in a lot of the races we've seen so far. Now, with that, it brings added pressure. So, how do you think these guys are going to cope with it this season, mate?
That pressure is sort of the one thing that no one else really sees. I mean, the pressure of being sort of like the team captain of the 3-car team is that you have to get results. Like,
yeah,
your team's morale. If you get a bad result, like, it'll bring the whole team down. Like, you need to work together as a team. I've said this both weeks, but teamwork this season is going to be a key factor. If you can get the morale of the team up, everyone's bouncing, everyone's ready to go. Like, you're going to drive better if you're feeling good. So,
yeah.
I
Absolutely.
mean, you've seen it firsthand.
Yep. Well, I'm on board with FTRL Switchback at the minute, obviously in the other Citroen car. He's currently a second off of SBY, he's on a 36.7, so that's already half a second quicker than what we saw the pole position time in GT1 last season. So for these first couple of races, the Alfa Romeos are looking very, very strong, but just bear in mind that this is a very long season and not all of these tracks will suit all of these cars. So the Alfas might have had a good start to the season, and rightly so, but it's not just going to be a sort of one-horse race at all. So it's certainly for everybody to stay nice and composed and to watch it all unfold throughout the season. Now, let's talk about the McLarens. So we've got Deluxe, who's currently sitting P5 on the grid. Was unable to race last week, so let's hope he's able to crack on. We don't seem to have any glitches this week, which is nice. And then we've had Unsafe Release and City Posh Blue, who unfortunately suffered very, very badly with sort of poor opening weeks. I mean, Unsafe got P5 at Autopolis, which is a very good result in that McLaren. I've driven that first hand and it was not fun to drive. Let me tell you about these McLarens. Well, there we go. Prime example on board with Deluxe. They twitch absolutely everywhere. So it's a bit of an art to drive in those cars. I mean, you've tested it in practice, Pagani. It's I mean, I've always loved the McLaren. I wanted it in FTRL for so long, and I tell you what, I did one race with it on Tuesday in the Nations Cup, and I could not believe how much that car twitches. So for those guys in that McLaren, it's going to be a very, very long, difficult season.
It is.
So let's try and support them, but I genuinely feel like they will grow into it. If they stick at it, I think they will get better and better and better every single week.
Yeah, I mean, the more you drive every car, the quicker you get with it. I mean, like Tom at the start of last season wasn't the quickest with the BMW in practice, but come sort of the third race, and he was nailing it every single week. Like, it was ridiculous, his consistency.
Absolutely. Well, let's move on to the Mitsubishi team. So we've got Prototype Steph, we've got Co-Andy, and then making in his debut this week is Zombie. Well, Zombie debut for this season, should I say? Missed last week. The Lancer boys finished pretty close last week, and I imagine more of the same. Would you say?
Yeah, I think they did struggle a little bit with the Group 4, but it is very difficult to get used to because it only has 5 gears. So where you're expecting to upshift a gear, it doesn't have another gear. So it can make some of your gearing for corners a little bit awkward, but like I said, I'll grow into that car. It's a very solid base car. And the Group 3, you've driven it won races before. It will probably win races this season.
I love the Group 3 car, and the Mitsubishi is absolutely lovely. And finally, let's talk about the VWs. Obviously, not the best week for those guys. Obviously, Gravity is serving a 2-race ban this evening for events from last week, and Nexus Cats is currently serving a qualifying ban for this round of races. So all falling on the shoulders of Nexus Iceman, who I believe has said he's transitioned back to being on pad for GT Sport, I believe. So let's see how that goes for him. Fingers crossed he gets to grips with that. He's a nice lad, and I genuinely wish him well for this season. I actually quite like his car, to be honest. It's a bit different.
I mean, the Group 4 VW is very quick over one lap, but tends to fall off in the races with excess tyre wear when it's front wheel drive.
Shocking tyre wear, but the Group 3 is the beetle on it, and I mean it's a strong car. Like I said, as much as you don't like it, it's a very, very strong car. So, Next Iceman has a massive twitch.
And as you say, it's nice to see Zombie recover from his energetic bike ride yesterday, so he could rest there.
Yes. Well, once again, I mean, I'm just looking through the old deliveries. I must say the McLaren boys have done a good job with the different coloured West liveries. I think they look really, really smart.
Haven't they? But I must say, I just love Pete's Alpha. It just looks fantastic.
Yeah,
that
it does.
Blue and white contrast.
Yeah, it was great. Well, SPY is currently your man on pole position, 136.7. There is just over a minute and a half left of the session, so everybody will be starting or about to start their final laps. At the moment, you've got the two alphas of SPY and Donzo on the front row. Then you've got Switchback in P3, who's got just under 2 tenths to Peatman in P4, who's got nearly half a second to Deluck in P5, closely followed by his teammate City Bosch Blue, who's going a bit better so far this week in the McLaren. I think he's going to ease himself into that as we go through. Junkie Sport, disappointed maybe to be down in P7. I know this is one of his most favourite tracks on the grid, so let's hope he can have another strong result tonight and maybe not let last week's result maybe get to his head slightly. Pagani, would you say that's a right thing to say? Just needs to kind of think to himself, right, excellent week last week, let's build on it now, rather than coming in maybe expecting to win. Not saying that he is, but let's just hope that that's not his mindset for this week.
I've done a few testing sessions with Carl, and he's very grounded at the moment.
Yeah.
He knows it's probably not the best track for his car, so he's just a bit of damage limitation, try and be best of the rest tonight.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I don't think for a second there'll be that element to him at all. I've known him for a very, very long time, as you know, but I suppose it's interesting to talk about these things as you're commentating, isn't it? So, I mean, I must admit, I genuinely do hope to see a good showing from the McLaren boys tonight. Like I said, it wasn't fun seeing them struggle last week in the way that they did. Donzo has edged his teammate. Is that a completely identical time?
It is.
So
I'm
Donzo,
not entirely sure how that works.
Donzo and SPY have done an absolutely identical lap time. However, SPY is coming around the final corner with Slipstream on City Posh Blue.
I'm not entirely sure what's up.
Neither have I, but SPY has gone pole, 136.6. I don't know whether City Posh Blue was either waving to say hello or he was telling SPY I wasn't happy with something maybe. But SPY has put it on pole position, 136.6. So he's done it where it mattered. And Peatman has jumped up to P3, so we've got an all Alfa Romeo front three. FTRL Switchback is in P4, with Junkie Sport has jumped up to P5, so a good lap from him in the end. Deluck in P6. He's currently still on a final lap.
Coming up to the last corner.
Let's see what Deluck can do. He's quite tight on entry. He's going to run pretty wide.
He's going to get Slipstream from Zombie in front.
Yeah, he certainly is. Is he going to be able to improve? He needs to find just over 3.5 tenths to go above Junkie Sport on the approach to the line. Deluck, does he improve? No, he doesn't. So City Posh Blue will be in P7. Unsafe Release will be in P8. Prototype Steph 9th. Zonwar starts and rounds off the top 10. Co-Andy, disappointed from him to be down in P11. Then you've got Zombie down in P12 and Nexus Iceman rounds off the grid, followed by Nexus Cat, who will be starting last for this one. So who's your money on in the chat? Please let us know. I imagine it's going to be an all Alfa Romeo scrap at the front. But Pagani, I'm going to come to you, mate. Give us your podium predictions in this one, your top three.
I'm not going to go for an Alfa Romeo on the top step.
Oh, I know you're not.
It's controversial. I mean, I hate saying it, but I think Zach, aka Switchback, is going to win.
Yeah, I was going to say that as well, but you've beaten me to
it. City Posh Blue second in McLaren.
Oh, okay.
And I think SPY will manage to make it onto the podium in third.
Well, I'm going to be boring and say after that I think Donzo's going to win this. The Donzo's going to win it. I think SPY is going to be second, and I think Switchback's going to be third. So let's see as we prepare for lights out for round number 3 of the GT2 Championships. Lee saying he thinks all the Alphas are going to hold on. CJ tipping City Posh as well. But we are preparing for 5 lights. Away we go. Let's get the monstrous start on board with the Citroen. Switchback right behind Donzo. Junkie Sports had a flying start. He's up into P3, a little bump between Switchback and Pete.
Was there Pete held out wide by those Citroen boys?
Oh, Junkie Sports gone for a bit of a dive. Has he? Oof.
Oh, Pete and Zach. There's a fly in McLaren back there. Someone clipped the curb.
Right, the McLarens have. Well, City Posh Blue's up to P5. So he's had a good start. Obviously switchback has is he going to send that down to the hairpin, is he? No, he's not. Holds it off nicely.
Brakes a little bit to look over the switchback on switchback.
Zom's up to P8, unsafe release in 9th. There's a little scrap going down for P9.
Everyone's in P10 at the moment.
Yeah, Nexus Cats is up 3.
Steph's dropped back, as has Zombie. The Mitsubushi's not getting off the line the best.
No, well, SPY has pulled 1.5 seconds to Don's already, who is distracted by a very large junkie sport behind him.
I mean, I don't think he'll be happy with you calling him large, but...
No, well...
But these two, Donzo and Junkie Sport, have raced each other before in GT1, so they know how each other races.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to be the person to predict bad things, but I've just got a bad feeling that they're going to come together in this race. I don't know why. Like I said to you,
on differing strategies. A Junkie Sport is on the soft tyre, while the two Alphas in front are on the super soft tyre.
Okay. There we go, right, we can see everything now. So moving down the grid, got Deluxe is quite close to switchback. City Posh Blue putting Peatman under some pressure. Down towards the hairpin. City Posh
inside of Andy,
in the slipstream, Peatman giving him just about enough room, but City Posh Blue looks like he's going to make this one stick. Pete going to go for the switchback, is he? Yeah. Yeah, City Posh doesn't have the grip on those tyres in that McLaren. It's so edgy out of corners.
Contact with the McLaren's behind. They're looking unsafe. Not the hairpin. With Zom trying to... More McLaren contact.
Oh, it's all going to go a bit feisty. Zom's in the gravel. Deluxe unsafe and Zom.
I mean, luckily with the McLaren scrapping together, like, there won't be too much paintwork to do.
Nope. Well, Zombie's looking pretty quick behind these two at the minute, but he's having a bit of a hard time getting past.
Just a quick howdy to Goy in the chat.
Good evening, Mr. Goy. How are we, good sir? So I'm just tuning in with this scrap down for P10 at the moment. It's all quite tasty. SPY is running away, 1.8 seconds.
Donzo's dropped Junkie Sport. There's a second between that pair now.
Yeah, and now Peatman is catching very, very quickly. City Posh Blue under pressure from switchback now.
I don't think there's anything worse than being under pressure from a switchback.
Nope.
I keep seeing that hop on McLaren drew second one in it.
It does frighten me, to be fair. Well, I'm going to go on board with Peatman as he's closing down Junkie Sport, who still has Donzo in his sights.
Very nearly 3 wide for 11th place, no 10th place. Nexus Cat up into P10 now. Made up 4 places from starting at the back.
Well, I mean, there seems to be a bit of a theme for Peatman at the minute, where he's not been having the best of starts, but he seems to sort of come back into it during the race. And unfortunately for him, that normally smells trouble. He's not really had a bit of a clean run, so to speak, just yet, as he got caught up in a couple of tangles last week. And then we saw at Alsace, his rear tyres just kind of went. Yeah. Oh, Junkie Sport with a massive twitch.
Looks like give Pete the run into the hairpin.
Pete balls to the outside.
Go defensive, it leaves you open to a switchback on the exit, but Pete's having a look. No. Holds back. I mean, the Alpha isn't the quickest thing in a straight line, but it will still have slipstream, so...
And right behind you've got Switchback, who's still putting City Posh Blue under pressure. He might put him under some more coming in towards the first couple of corners with the speed of that Citroen. I mean, the McLaren, to be fair, isn't slow in a straight line by any stretch of the imagination. But City Posh is starting to get up to where City Posh should be.
Zom's had an incident. He's dropped down from 9th all the way down to 12th.
Yeah, he was scrapping with those McLarens, wasn't he?
He was.
Nexus Cats and Prototype Steph squabbling. It's only been a matter of time, unfortunately, for those VWs that... yes, alright, Lee, I did notice that. I just rolled with it and carried on. When you start insulting my commentary, thank you very much.
SBY still edging away from his teammate, who's pulling away from Junkie Sport now, so got a 5-second gap between Junkie Sport and the leader at the moment. So
Andy just hit into the side of Zomp at the exit of the hairpin. He's managed to go through. Nexus Iceman and Zombie are scrapping for last place at the minute. There's an almighty train for P9. But then they've got 6.5 seconds to Unsafe and Deluxe, who are pretty much driving their own race at the minute. Junkie Sport is still managing to hold off Peatman, and City Posh is slowly starting to close back in, so we could see a 4-car train for P3 at the minute. Switch back up, braking himself slightly.
Leashed straight in there with a dig at your commentary.
Well, it's just not very nice.
After everything positive you said about his commentary.
Well, I mean, yeah, I've always openly said that I think Lee's superb at commentary, but I'm lying. I think he's shit. Oh. Right, back to the matter of racing.
Very good run through turn 1.
Yeah, he certainly has. Right, we're on lap 5. I imagine we're going to see, what was it, about 15 laps around here?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Oh, City Posh has run wide. It's allowed Switchback to get to the inside. And he has outbraked himself a couple of times to switch back into this hairpin.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he does it again. Loves a bottle job. No, seems to get that one right.
Not too busy flashing
frantically
headlights.
flashing, yeah.
I don't think Unsafe's gelled with this Group 4 McLaren at
No.
all yet.
Well, I mean, I know after the races last week he was a little bit disheartened. But like I said, the trouble is for a lot of these people, oh, that's a massive slide. For a lot of the people that are driving, especially in GT2, when we gave them, was it 11 manufacturers to choose from? And that's obviously there's only 5 teams on the grid, so essentially you just had free reign for pushing a week to test all the cars, and GT2 was done in basically 24 hours. So I'm not sure how much testing was done within those time.
Donzo's in the pits.
Okay, yeah, so Donzo's 2 stopping. Interesting strategy from Donzo. I mean, his tyres were barely worn.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I mean, he's going to come out in P4.
Oh, it's going to be tight. He's going to come up P3 alongside his teammate.
There we go. Yeah, so yes, unfortunately, with the difference in cars, I mean, there are, as I can speak from personal experience and for pretty much everybody else that's watching, you can absolutely gel with a car and know it like the back of your hand, and you get in something else and you just doesn't want to go. I mean, Unsafe is, what was he in last season? He was in the Mazda last season, which is one of the most stable manufacturers you can get, and now he's in the McLaren, which is one of the twitchiest you can probably get. So it's a completely different type of car. I know they obviously, people that are watching might think, oh, they're all just cars, they all drive pretty much the same. They really, really don't. Every car. Oh, there's Pete. There we go, right on cue. Jinxing Pete.
Donzo is a man on a mission trying to get past Junkie Spot on those fresh tyres.
Yeah. Well, this is what I was saying about these guys towards the front. Let's see how patient they are, because they might be all for a particular strategy and whatever else, but it's a matter of being patient, taking your time, picking your moments.
SBY coming to pits, he does not.
Okay, difference in strategy at Alfa Romeo. Pete's close to his teammate, but he's also now bringing Switchback and City Posh with him. City Posh is slowly starting to drop off of Switchback, but nowhere near enough for it to be that much of a problem at the moment. And you've got Deluxe has dived into the pits as well, and Safe Release has carried on. So we're seeing a lot of 2 stops and some 1 stops as well.
I've seen why City Posh has begun to drop back. If you look at his front right tyre, it's nearly half worn.
Christ.
You've got to think maybe the 2 stop might have been quicker. It's a very short pit lane.
Well,
Donzo's got past Junkie's Spot.
yeah. I mean, I was talking to City Posh this week, and I did mention to him that a 2 stop would probably be a good idea.
But Junkie's Spot looking the inside at the hairpin. Dunzo brakes late enough, but still makes the apex. Holds on to the place.
Okay, let's go further down the field. City Boss Blue has broke himself quite a lot. He needs to pit.
Which he needs to pit soon. And either confirm the 2-stop or go on the medium tyre and try and make him last to the end.
Yeah, well, Deluxe is on fresh super softs. Nexus Cat standing P9, so he's made up 5 places so far. Seems to be a bit more controlled this week, which is good. Zom's right in the thick of it all at the moment with Co-Andy. Not enjoying life in that Group 4 Mitsubishi at the minute, but like I said, we know that the strength with the Mitsubishi guys will be in their Group 3 car as Andy takes a trip to the gravel. Prototype Steph a few seconds behind as well. Zombie down in P13. And Nexus Iceman some way back, unfortunately, has made a pit stop. Like I said, transitioned back onto pad, so he's going to take a little bit of time to get used to everything again. But this is your...
has recently pitted and is only 2 seconds away from Andy's teammate. So.
Okay. Well, City Posh Blue has dived into the pits, as has Unsafe Release. And there wasn't too much of a gap between those guys then. So City Posh has really, really suffered.
But he has got 6% more fuel than his teammate.
City Posh Blue is coming out just behind his teammates. The Deluxe has made up loads of time. Now, I think City Posh has probably now conceded the battle for sort of P5 and P4. But this little mid-pack now between Deluxe, City Posh and I imagine Unsafe Release will be the battle for P6, because I think they're all going to be on a 2-stop. Because City Posh has gone supers, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think he's confirmed he's going to go for the 2-stop now. Sort of rag these tyres for the next 4 or 5 laps.
Yeah. Well, the McLaren battle. Deluxe and City Posh up towards the front. Donzo is 6 seconds off of SBY.
He was 9, so he is quick.
Well, I imagine this will be the lap that SPY goes into the pits. It doesn't look like he's going to have to put any fuel in the car. If he does, minimal.
I expect all of the boys on this one stop to be pitting this lap. It's past half distance now.
There we go. So Donzo's going to go through. So let's see whether the 1-stop or the 2-stop will prevail in this situation. Donzo's about to go past. Yeah, so he gets the jump on SPY. But the gap's not going to be that big. So Donzo needs the few laps of his life at this stage. Peteman carries on as well, but he's 10 seconds behind his teammates. The 2 Citroens in the pits, Switchback and Junkie Sport. Where do they come out in respect to the McLarens? They're going to be ahead of those guys.
Junkie Sport's gone the super soft route.
Interesting call. Might suffer towards the end, but it'll be very, very quick now.
So they shouldn't wear as quick as what they would at the start of the race on a full fuel tank. I mean, you say that Donzo needs laps of his life. I mean, he just set the fastest lap, which is half a second quicker than last season's pole. So,
well, Deluxe just picked up a penalty. City Posh has had a better run, so they're both going to charge down towards the hairpin. Now, City Posh being Mr. Polite, is he still going to go for a move? I think he might. Seems to be ahead at this stage. Deluxe has conceded and taken up his penalty. And City Posh Blue goes back through into P6.
Well, I must say, I've had the pleasure of working with Deluxe in the Nations Cup, and he's probably as polite as City Posh. He works very well as a teammate, so I fully anticipate those two to try and work together now to sort of pull away from, well, I'd say pull away from the guy behind, but that's unsafe, so he'll be trying his best to catch up to his 2 teammates.
Yeah. Well, we've got 19 people watching at the minute, so thank you all very much for giving up your time and watching. Please all keep your comments coming in, entertain us when it dries out a little bit as it is at the moment. The closest battle on track is between Nexus Cats and Zom for P11.
Zom hasn't really had the look of the green this season compared to his 2 teammates.
No, I mean he showed some promise last season in the old Hyundai, believe it or not, and Brown Tsukuba, where he managed to pick up, was it a podium on debut?
Yeah.
So we know he's got it locked in there somewhere. It's just a case of trying to find that on a consistent level for Zom. Nexus Cat, you know, but for the odd mistake here or there, is typically a very, very good driver. I've just seen my fiance's entered the chat. Evening, Charlotte. Thank you. I'm going to get
Evening,
involved
Charlotte.
with that one. Thank you. Yeah.
Is that all I'm allowed to say?
Yeah. She's sitting next to me on the bed, giggling away, whilst I'm sat up here trying to do me commentary. So I dread to think.
They're very close together.
Yeah, they are. Now, the luxury for the switchback has got is that Junkie Sport is on super soft tyres, so at this stage he will probably be slightly quicker. So he will just be sitting in the slipstream. Pretty much, this is what you're watching now, Pagani, is what it's like with me and you.
It is, but I mean, we're slightly more proficient at it. We've had a season doing it. So.
Yeah, and pretty much like a hair's width between the two cars as well.
Yeah.
Even closer than this. It just, yeah, infuriates me. Anyway, right, Donzo, 2.5 seconds is the lead to SPY.
Oh, the looks had a good run on City Porsche. Have a look down the inside at the last corner.
I must say, it's good to see these two having a good scrap as well. Nice and respectful between the two. Teammates as well.
Oh.
Both fighting for the same thing. Unsafe release, only a couple of seconds. Right, flying foam is dangerously close to being banned from everything.
I mean, he may have to go under a pseudonym. I mean, we have seen it before.
Yes, I would tread very carefully. Now Lee's saying Charlotte gives... So Charlotte has now taken over the stream, basically. Everyone's only come to see her. Thank you, yeah.
Well, Switchback has got in front of Junkie Sport. I imagine these two will be in a party. So, obviously Switchback feeling quick.
There's a first.
I mean, he can feel quick all the legs. He's got to do something.
Yep. Well, unsafe release is slowly bringing the gap down to his two teammates. We could see a three-way scrap for them here between the McLarens by the end of the race.
But everybody's least favourite Belgian getting involved now, so...
Yeah. I thought Brexit was supposed to iron out problems like that.
Well, Steph, I was thinking... Oh, Donzo's in the pits, so...
There we go. So Donzo is coming in to do his final stop of the race. I mean, it's going to put him within distance of Pete. No, it's not, because Pete comes into the pits. SPY looks like he's going to probably be fairly comfortable to the end now.
Well, we've got a new driver joining GT1.
Oh, SPY's had a massive wiggle and he's round.
Oh. Those curbs in that first sector are deadly.
There we go. So Donzo all of the time that he would have lost in the pits, he is now within touching distance. 2.3 seconds.
GT1, we've got Floating Norm joining us.
Yeah. Well, I don't know who spells gnome with a K, but okay. SPY is only 2 seconds in front of Donzo, but they've got 12.8 seconds to switch back Junkie Sport, and then Peteman, after his pits, has come out behind both the Citroen drivers. So,
does SPY pit now after that spin? I mean, his tyres won't be liking it toward the end of the stint.
No, but I don't think he'll risk it. At this point, he just needs to try and hold on.
He'll come out in front of the two Citroen boys.
Yeah, but I just think he will. He'll want to stay where he is to try and win the race.
I mean, Lennon suggesting that Charlotte's going to take over FTRL. I mean, she owns FTRL, so I don't know what you're talking about, Lennon.
Yeah. She's just sitting there grinning away to it. She's hiding behind her legs, and then she's just sitting there grinning away.
Deflated yes I've ever heard.
Oh, I know. Right, Pete is right on the back of Junkie Sport now.
Looks like Pete is pushing these two Citroen boys.
Now, let's hope this all runs smoothly for the next 4.5 minutes.
Oh no. I'm not going to entertain Lee.
Yeah. We're not rebranding the league name, Lee.
What can Pete do? He didn't have enough speed in a straight line to get past the Citroens, yet ducked back into the slipstream, so he's going to have to do it either on the brakes or through the corners, which is where the Alpha is at its best. But the Citroen is no slouch.
definitely isn't. Now I want to go down and see what's going on. City Posh Blue has had some form of moment.
I think he's pitted.
Oh, is he pitted?
You look at his tyres.
Yeah.
Which he hasn't come up very far behind.
No, he hasn't. Okay, so City Posh Blue is pitted. Coan's managed to get himself back up into P9 and Steph in P10. Zom is still in P11. And we've got Nexus Cats, the final point scorer. Zombie's only a couple of seconds off. And Nexus Iceman a little bit further back. But we're going to go back towards the battle for the front.
SBY is cooking those front tyres under brakes. He's trying everything he can.
Oh, Pete is so close to switch back. Him and Junkie Sport have swapped.
I was wanting to do sit and swap round.
So we can try and stay with the battle for the front
switch back
positions.
speed. Pete's got the run. I'd expect switch back to try and get his teammate a slipstream. But yeah.
3 minutes left, so we've got 2 laps. Might be 3
indeed.
for the front 2.
The 3 McLarens are bunching together.
There we go. McLaren fight. Junkie Sports pulled a second to switch back, who's defending for his life from Peteman at the minute.
Well, it seems to be what Switchback tries to do. I mean, we saw it in the Nations Cup. He tried to hold on with everything he had and didn't go too well from there.
Switchback's had a slide off the curb. Pete's got a run.
Will Junkie Sport give Switchback the slipstream? Oh, Pete trying to squeeze off that slipstream.
Nothing wrong with that, in my view. I mean, however, it is Zach, so I imagine it'll get reported.
Obviously, we'll have a steward report to fill in later.
I'll tell you now, no further action.
Within a second of his teammate up front. Now we'll see what the 2 Alpha boys have got. Will they fight? I mean, Donzo's set fastest lap of 36.5. That is a very quick lap time.
Yep, so the Alphas at the front 2 have got 2 laps to go. At this point, it's looking like it's going to be Donzo.
Deluxe deep in the McLaren battle, but City Posh is right on the back of Unsafe. I mean, it would appear that we've seen the McLaren's true pace. All of them are very close together.
Yeah. I still think there's more to come from these guys, though. I do think they will gradually move further up the grid as the season goes on. City Posh Blue, look at the grip there. Wow, he's flown through, unsafely struggling on those tyres now. Now, City Posh.
Oh, Pete's up the inside of Junkie, but Junkie holds it tight on the brakes.
Is Deluxe going to have enough fuel?
Oh, Pete's round! He clipped that inside curb.
Oh, no way. Needs to be careful because these McLarens are on their way as well. City Posh has had a wiggle. Oh, he's very committed. He wants that P6. He's rode that inside curb.
To be fair, Deluxe and Unsafe are both critical on fuel.
Yeah, City Posh, however, does have a 0.8 of a second penalty. So even if Deluxe was to lose position in City Posh, which I think he's going to here. Yeah, he does.
Look, Nexus Cat's tyres have fallen off a cliff and Zombie has caught him rapidly.
Donzo 0.3 of a second behind his teammate. We've got a battle for the race win. We've got Zombie looking down at the hairpin towards Nexus Cats. Is he going to take a look? No, he pulls out the move.
Well, it'll be the last lap for these 2 boys for 12th and 13th. Can Nexus Cats hold on?
Can City Posh Blue manage to lose this 0.4?
Oh, Donzo's up the inside of his teammate for the race lead. Guess the move done before the chicane, but SBY will have the slipstream going down to the hairpin.
Well, Junkie Sports finished 3rd, Switchbacks finished 5th, Peteman in P5. City Posh Blue, is he going to manage to serve this penalty before he crosses the line? 2.1, is he going to have enough? Yes, he is. City Posh does it. Deluxe and then unsafe release just behind his teammate. Coandy's going to finish P9, Steph P10, Zom 11. And then Zombie going to take a look at Nexus Cats for the final points. I'm trying to go around the outside, but he's just outbroke himself a little bit too late. That's going to be Nexus Cats for the final points of the evening.
Oh, Nexus
Donzo.
Cats is on the grass. Zombie's got the run, but he has a half-second penalty. He's going to get it to the line, but that penalty is going to cost him.
Oh, unlucky. Well, Donzo's got 7 tenths to his teammate. This could be Donzo's first ever win in FTRL now. So if he manages to hold this together, we've had 3 different winners this season, and all 3 of them have won their first ever races in FTRL.
Well, SBY is critical on fuel, so I can't see him coming back.
Nope, and Donzo comes round the final corner. A very popular race winner here. FTRL Donzo comes down towards the line, and he takes his first ever win in FTRL. What a drive from Donzo. SBY comes home in P2, and Junkie Sport rounds off the podium for P3. So there we go. Now, yeah, if Switchback managed to get himself third, I would have got the podium exactly right and gutted. But well done to Donzo.
Switchback let you down once again.
Yeah, of course he did. I'm going to screenshot that for Donzo. There we go, let's save the race replay. Wow. Cracking little race, that one, Pagani.
I was going to say, it sort of had mellowed in the middle, but it hotted straight back up towards the end.
It definitely did, yeah. Well, I must say, I mean, the grid, if you look at the race results here on the screen, it's kind of starting to take a little bit of shape now, isn't it?
It is indeed, but as we've seen from that race, those Alfa Romeos are not infallible.
No.
Are they infallible? I don't know which round it is. It's a big word for me.
I know. I'm impressed you even attempted to try and put that in a race through. But no, I mean, obviously, Bathurst, we'll get into that in a second, because I don't think anybody knows it better than what you do, mate. So we'll get into that and where certain cars will be good, certain cars won't. So I'll give you a minute to think about that. But nice to see the McLarens all grabbing themselves some decent points. I know they struggled last week in the Group 4. Group 3 is going to be quite tricky for them, as the Alphas as well. A lot of rear-wheel drive cars on the grid now, but it's going to be quite an interesting one. I imagine that the Lancers will go fairly well around here. It's just a case of how well they know the track and how much confidence they've got. So watch out for Steph and Andy in the next race. The Beatles as well, the Nexus Cats and Nexus Iceman. I've driven, I mean, they know Bathurst because they've done a 4-hour endurance race around here. So I imagine that they will be, well, maybe more Cats than Iceman, purely because of the whole wheel to pad situation. But I imagine they're going to be ones to watch out for as well. So going into the race, it's going to be Iceman on pole, Zombie alongside him with Cats, and then Zom. So it's all pretty interesting stuff. Right, let's wait for Switchback.
Well, Nexus Cat says that track is awful. Just for reference, I'm pleased he managed to make it the race distance. The last time I did this track, he had an unfortunate incident that happened. He fainted and couldn't continue to participate.
Was that here? I thought that was Sardegna.
Well,
I don't know, he commentated on it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so good to see Nexus Cats hasn't fainted. So, well done. But yeah, right, well, let's wait for Switchback to change all the lobby settings over. There we go, right on cue.
Well, Zach says he didn't like that track. I don't think there's a track you do like, so...
Doesn't like many things, does he? Yeah. He still managed to bring home P4, so it's still decent points as well. So, I mean, if I hate your track and finish 4th there, I'll be jumping for joy. But, yeah, those Alpha Group 4s at the minute look a little bit quicker than anything else we've got on the track, but...
I was say they do, but they don't seem that quick in GT1. So, obviously they're quick, but the Dodge and the Citroen look capable to beat them, so...
There we go. So, nobody's managed to get in the cars yet. Let's wait and see if anybody's going to go out on track. And then I'll hand you over to the very capable hands of Pagani. He's going to talk us through a lap of Bathurst, I think, when we get to...
And I believe we have Nexus Cats going out on track.
Yeah, we certainly do.
It would appear that everybody's on the medium tyre at the moment, besides Junkie Sport.
Junkie Sport's starting on the softs, which is interesting. And I want to see if anybody can get a flying lap in But yeah, let's okay, let's talk about first of all what cars you think should go pretty well around here. So we've got the VW Beetle Group 3, we've got the McLaren 650S, we've obviously got the Alfa Romeo 4C, we've got the Mitsubishi Evo Group 3, and then we've got the Citroen as well. So what would you kind of expect to go well around here, mate?
Well, I apologise for someone shouting the word fish in the background. That was my dad. So
That's what happens.
The McLarens might struggle going down the hill. It is a very tricky section of track that you have to get very right. You need a very stable motor car, which unfortunately the McLaren isn't. But don't write them off. I mean, I have seen FTRL Panda survive 4 hours in that car around here. So, and if Will can drive it, anybody can drive it. Of course, he didn't put any practice in to that point. So,
yeah, but I've just seen City Posh go down there. It does look a little bit twitchy, but I think the art to getting the McLaren down there is just to keep the car as straight and as stiff as possible. Just purely on the basis, if you try and throw it down there like you do other cars, it is just literally going to go all over the place.
The Beetle, I suffered for 4 hours driving around here, but it is probably the most stable Group 3 car you're ever going to drive.
Yeah.
You know what to expect from it, you know what it's going to do every corner. The Evo, based on a rally car, you're not going to get much more stable than that. We drove it against the Mustang, and around all the twisty circuits, the Evo came out on top.
Yeah.
I've just seen the look doing a donut, so probably not the best incentive for the McLaren team. The Citroen on the medium tyre might be a little bit twitchy at the low speed stuff, but it is very capable. I did some practice around here in the Citroen and was managing 201s as a race time, so it is manageable. Alfa Romeo, I expect it to be very good round here. It is, I want to say it's a light, but I mean everything's sort of balanced with balance of performance on. But it's low at the ground, it's got low centre of gravity, it does very well over top of the mountain, but it may be lacking a little bit down the two straights.
I think it might struggle coming down the mountain as well. I mean, it does twitch. It's not. It can kick out the Alpha, especially when those rear tyres start to wear. We saw that with Pete last week as well, and we saw it with SBY tonight. I know he clipped the curb a little bit as he spun out, but it's once those rear tyres go on the Alpha, there is no recovering them. So, right, get your predictions in the stream chat for your podium tonight. It's a complete lottery, but Pagano, I'm going to put you on the spot first. I
just want to say I hope everyone takes turn 1 carefully, because there's not a lot of space on the grid at Bathurst.
No, I imagine there's going to be 1 or 2 that go off at the first corner, so let's just hope they don't. Right, I'm going to ask you for a top 3 before we start the race.
Got lost at turn 1, so I'm not going to put him on the podium. Probably looking for cycle routes. I'm going to say Nexus Cats to win.
Oh, okay.
Starting on pole with a Beetle, if he can get away early. I think SBY is going to come through a second, and Switchback's been doing a lot of practice. I'm going to go Switchback for third.
Okay, right, well, I am going to go for a FTRL Switchback win, a Junkie Sports second, and I'm going to go with a Prototype Steph third, I think. Ooh. As we prepare for lights out at Bathurst, we've got a terrible camera angle, but we'll roll with it. Oh, Nexus Cats has jump started. It's going to cause absolute havoc. Oh, there we go. Yep, Peteman's off.
There's someone round in the background, I believe.
There's polystyrene flying everywhere.
Oh, that's going to cause havoc. There's no brake marker boards for turn 1.
They've already gone, but Zombie is your race leader. Zom's up into second place. Co-Andy's up into third. Nexus Iceman is on the outside. Prototype Steph, as you can imagine, to follow his teammate through. I don't think he is.
Oh, contact at the front between Zombie and Zom.
Whoa, everyone's hitting the wall. Zom was just hit the back of Zombie, I believe.
I think Zombie braked a little early as Zom was sort of using my brake reference marker. So.
Yeah, oh, an exercise man just wiggling everywhere.
Oh, beetle on beetle action. Probably not what people tuned in for, but still.
No, well, Nexus Cats has recovered. He's now up into P3. Let's get the everything up that we want to see. Well, Lee's gone with Andy, Cats and SBY as his top three. At the moment, Zom leads the way from Co-Andy, who's in P2. He's got 1.5 to Nexus Cats. Andy's had a massive wiggle. The Mountain's going to catch everybody out. Prototype Steph's sideways. He's all over the place.
It's not the start that Junkie Sport would have wanted last week's race when they're down in 13th. The contact at turn 2.
Definitely isn't. Oh, Donzo's going slowly. Where is Junkie Sport? He's there, and Zombie has found himself all the way to the back. He's going to be absolutely gutted.
He's going to be apoplectic after this race.
What is it with you and your big words? Let's just not do that tonight. It doesn't suit you. It does not suit you.
Oh, Andy's making a move for the race lead.
Gets it done. Co-Andy's your new race leader. Let's see what he can do. Zom is...
Oh, Zom is
using
in the pit lane?
Right, are all the Citroens doing this? Okay, switchbacks in as well, as is Junkie Sport. So all of the Citroens... Right, okay.
Oh, boys. Oh.
Interesting.
I mean, it's an interesting strategy. I'm not entirely sure it'll pay off, but I've been proved wrong before. As Pete and SBY are side by side for P8, look turn 2.
Any love between the alphas? Or is it a straight out war? No,
Pete backed out of that one.
Pete does Pete things and is Mr. Lovable on track. We all love racing Pete.
Nexus Cats has caught Andy.
Oh, Donzo's hit the luck, I think. Oh, is it him again? Definitely a bit of contact there.
Well, Lennon's gone for Andy's City Porsche and SBY. Well, Nexus Cats has got into the race lead. Across the top of the mountain, he's overtaken Andy.
Definitely has.
Andy's missed his braking point, went straight across.
Nexus Iceman is coming as well. Unsafe release has a big wiggle. Those McLarens as they come down the hill, they're just twitching. Little Shakira hips going on.
I must admit, I do really like Unsafe's livery. Take on the Schnitzer colours from way back when, the McLaren F1.
Looks absolutely gorgeous. But Unsafe and City Posh are scrapping at the minute.
Well, Nexus Iceman is trying to get past Andy on the straight. What does the Beetle have in a straight line?
Yeah, the two McLarens are doing it as well.
Side by side, it's very difficult right-hander.
Andy outbrakes himself straight
deep.
off.
That's the first time Andy's been told he's gone deep.
Yeah, rejoins pretty well though, so fair play to him. Keeps it nice and composed. City Posh Blue has got past his teammate, and Unsafe is looking back at him. Yeah, that's a lovely livery from Unsafe Release. Big fan. I also like City Posh's as well. The sort of black and blue type effect.
But one man never to be counted out in a Group 3 car is Steph.
Exactly that. Here he comes.
Trying to get side by side with Unsafe Release up into turn 2, getting the slipstream off McLaren in front. As City Porsche has had a fantastic run, is now side by side with Iceman.
Can he hold it around the outside here? City Posh Blue.
Around the outside of turn 2, that's not something you see every day.
Oh. In a McLaren as well. What a move. For me, move of the season so far in GT2.
Credit to Iceman, he gave him the room.
Yep. I will do that. The old Nexus boys can be very, very good racers. They can just...
Oh, City Porsche! Oh, he was sideways coming across the top of the mountain.
Well, if City Posh does go out, or does spin, at least he's gone out fighting here. What a performance so far from him. in that McLaren. I really thought they might struggle, especially in the early stages on the mediums, but he's giving, look at how twitchy he is. He's giving it absolutely everything.
To be fair, these McLarens are on the medium tyre, so it's as twitchy as it's going to be.
Yeah.
So...
Oh, an exercise man twats into the wall. It's past 9 o'clock, so I can say twat.
Well, switchback after the early stops up to P7.
Well, can I just ask why it is after I say the word twat you say switchback? Oh, Junkie's
a ginormous one.
Right, we've got Junkie Sport is in between the two alphas of Donzo and Peatman.
Oh, there's contact! Junkie Sport taps the back of Donzo, sends him wide. But credit Junkie Sport, he has lifted.
Yeah, he's lost a position to Peatman as well.
Managed to regain control of the car.
Yeah, well, Pete's gained 2 positions from that, so he's going to be fairly pleased.
Andy's dropped off massively, was fighting for P1, was in the lead of the race, is now down to P11.
City Posh is gaining time on Nexus Cats, but as we predicted, or as you predicted, he's Nexus Cats is looking pretty good at the minute.
Zom just had a quick trip to gravel at turn 1. I know he was receiving a few tips from his old mate Tomo, so if there's one person that can drive Bathurst very well, I know it's Tomo. I try to keep up with him in the Beetle, so...
Oh yes.
Well, Nexus Cats is stretching his legs. He's got a 2-second gap at the moment.
Yeah, he's going well so far.
But City Porsche is... I mean, to drive that McLaren fast, you have to fight it, and he is fighting every step of the way. He's just gone purple as City Porsche. Oh, but he's sideways down the mountain. That lost him 3/10, that one slide.
Can I just say as well, look at the lack of tyre wear on the medium tyre of Steph compared to the softs of SPY and the Alpha behind. I mean, there is literally nothing on Steph's car. I mean, and compare that to Andy's.
To be fair, he's probably got Tottenham's trophy case sat next to him. Less weight in that car, but there you go.
Well, Donzo is now back past Junkie Sport.
Oh, SPY's gone deep.
Oh, Junkie Sport sending it into the hairpin. He's going to outbrake himself, is he? No, gets that done. Nice move.
Let's give switchback to run at the final corner. Gets the move done. So switchback's up to P5 after the early stop.
Yeah, he's on the super softs though.
He is indeed. He stopped at the end of lap 1 and already has more tyre wear than Steph.
Yeah, well, he sets the fastest lap of the race by 0.03 of a second.
Oh, City Push Blues getting half a second through turn 1. He's obviously got sections that he likes on this track as he loses a couple tenths at turn 2. That McLaren bent silly buggers on the brakes.
Well, thankfully, we've still got quite a nice train of cars at this point. Andy's struggling a little bit in that in the Evo. Deluxe as well, and the McLaren he's just pitted, and Zombies in the pits as well.
Go on and blame Lee for Andy's poor result at the moment. He's put the hex on him.
Yeah. Lee doing what Lee does. Yeah. Junkie Sport on the back. Yeah, of an exercise man.
I mean, he knows, he told me that there aren't many overtaking opportunities, especially across top of the mountain, so they're waiting for that straight.
Oh, someone's had a wiggle. It's prototype Steph. It's a shame for Steph, he was going very well indeed. SPY put in under pressure. Yeah. I've just seen that. Well, City Posh Blue has halved the gap to Nexus Cats. Now, Pagani, let's talk strategy, because you and I had one of our best races of the season around here last time out, and we pitted at the end of lap 5.
Oh, City Posh is deep.
Yeah.
He's over the grass. That McLaren won't like that.
Needs to get in the pits. City Posh, listen to me.
Stays out.
Into
City
the pits.
Posh and Unsafe and Switchback are all in the pits. Are the
Yeah, they all
Citroens
go
going
in.
for a full stop?
I think there must be. Okay, a lot of people pitting now. Donzo carrying on.
What tyres did the McLaren boys go on? That's going to be the factor for me.
My Switchback is coming out the pits and he's going to tuck in just behind Pete, who is yet to stop.
Right, well, Switchback hasn't filled the tank, so he's running to a strategy. City Posh and Unsafe have filled the tank. City Posh is on the supers, Unsafe's on the soft. So, change of strategy in the McLaren camp. However, you've got to think that anything is better than the medium tyre at this moment in time.
Yeah, they just need to be aware that obviously colder tyres.
Well, Zombie isn't enjoying this Evo at the moment. He's dropped back. Obviously, hasn't fully recovered from that bike ride from yesterday, so. But it's nice to see him turning up and sticking with it, so. Good lad, Zombie. Well, Nexus Cat's currently keeping the gap to SBY. And SBY's on the soft tyre, so. SBY a little sideways at the hill wall. Clips the wall. I mean, the train for third place has got 3 cars in it.
So now Nexus Cat's still going. I wonder if he's going to respond, because if he doesn't, he's definitely going to lose places out on the undercut, I think.
Well, Nexus Iceman, for his second race on pad, Bathurst is probably one of the hardest to try and go make the switch from. As we have a very tight switch back trying the outside of Donzo. That was ballsy. Gets the move done on the brakes, but he clipped the grass on the run in.
Well, he's looking like a contender here, he's switched back, I think.
Nexus Cat stays out.
SPY's in.
For a 2-stop.
Oh, Zom's off down the back of the grid.
Switchback's on the back of Iceman now.
Yeah, the Evos have not had the best of times at the minute, especially Car Andy down in P10.
Zom's spun on the way to pit lane.
Junkie Sport in P7, so the Citroens at the minute are P3, P7, and Zom down in P12. Prototype Steph is attacking Donzo, both on fresh tyres, now both behind Deluxe.
Well, SBY's come up right behind City Posh. City Posh has picked up a 2.4 second penalty. I mean, now we'll see what SBY's got. He's on the super soft tyre, so he's saving that medium for later on in the race.
Well, he's in between two very, very fast drivers.
He is, and he's clipped the wall to start the mountain, so Unsafe's right on the back of him now. Nowhere to pass across top of the mountain though. But these two battling. Junkie Sport is closing up onto the back of them very quickly.
Exercise man in the Iron Maiden livery. City Posh for company now. City Posh has made a bit of a break for it. And those guys battle. If City Posh can get past Nexus Iceman and let the 3 scrap behind him, he's going to put himself in quite a nice position.
Oh no! Switchback's in second.
I was going to say. Well, he's in. I think he's your current net race leader, isn't he? Switchback.
He is, but Nexus Cats is in pit lane. He's out of fuel, so I'm anticipating these Beatles to do the 2-stop. So
yeah, right. City Posh Blue is through. SPY is going to follow him around. I think a little bit of contact.
Iceman's trying to get to pit lane.
Yeah, and he does that indeed. Gets that done. City Posh Blue did have a couple of seconds, and now he's lost that. Scrapping with Nexus Iceman. But once again, City Posh Blue, an unsafe release. Looking like there's not a lot to separate them at the minute. Junkie Sports had a good run out of the first corner, going to go up the hill.
Side by side with Unsafe.
He's going to have to do it the long way around though.
Junkie Sport has a slipstream.
He does, but there's not that much of a difference here. Unsafe tucks in.
Sport. I mean, that's what a stable back end gets you, confidence on the brakes.
Definitely does. Well, switch back. Yep, 3.3 seconds is his race lead at the moment. Now is his time to run.
Well, he does like this Group 3, so now's the time to show it. Then he's got a Rubik's Cube on the roof, and I think that's what his strategy is. It's very complicated at the moment. So.
He's driving well, to be fair to him. Flawless at the minute.
Won't have to say that, do we? I won't.
City Posh is under pressure from SPY. Junkie Sport is on his way as well.
I don't think Junkie Sport's got in the rhythm he was in last week. I mean, he's getting there, but how in quite the pace we saw from him when he said that, yes, their fastest lap. But
here comes SPY.
Alfa Romeo versus McLaren. Side by side.
Oh, switch from SPY. Yes, it done. Good move.
Well, looking at the tyre wear, City Porsche's tyre wear is a lot better than it was last week. Obviously, he's moved the brake bias a bit further forward to keep the wear a bit equal across the car, which is what you want. Well, Nexus Cats sitting in P7, right behind Donzo. Don't count Nexus Cats out of this race just yet. He's going to make one less stop than the cars in front, and isn't too far away. He's only 11 seconds behind the lead. He's behind a very quick car in Donzo, so if he can just follow Donzo, or maybe overtake Donzo the way he's going, he's looking very quick at the moment with Nexus Cats.
Yeah, old Junkie Sport gets the move done on City Posh. Yeah, good move, good respect. I think City Posh has played that quite smart there. I think he's let Junkie Sport go through, knowing that at this stage he's probably a little bit quicker.
He has, but they're both from the wall across the mountain.
Well, Junkie Sport's giving it everything to try and catch up to SPY. Unsafe release as well, tagging along. His McLaren boys are going strong, and it's good to see we've approached the halfway stage of this race basically.
Well, Nexus Cats is clawing at the back of that Alfa Romeo Donzo in front.
Certainly is. I'm keeping
gain time on switchback.
I'm keeping an eye on City Posh and Junkie Sport. Is City Posh going to be able to get anything done here? I mean, he's just lifted off, I think. Or is he? Oh, this is brave. This is brave. Good move, City Posh Blue. Oh, Junkie Sport's a casualty. Junkie Sport is a casualty.
He's in the wall.
He's in the wall. I mean, it was
last week's.
There's a minor touch.
Oh. Not the safest of rejoins. No spot pits.
I mean, it didn't look like the biggest of touches. I've got to be honest. I'm not sure though. We'll have to obviously have a look at that back later on.
Well, I mean, Andy mustn't be enjoying his time because he's managed to pause it long enough to put a message in the chat saying there's a free Mitsubishi seat to any takers. So he's not enjoying his time at the moment.
It's a shame, it's a cracking car. I love that car.
Maybe you might have to have a bit of a word with him, show him your special talents and maybe rub off on him a little bit.
God, if we did that, he'd run the opposite direction. Yeah, I'll throw him if you're still here, mate.
Rub off on him a bit, not rub him off a bit, just to be sure. Just to make that clear.
Okay, well, your current race leader is SPY. 3.6 seconds is the gap to City Posh Blue, who's got his teammate Unsafe Release stuck to the back of him. Now, this is what I expected to see from these two this season. Must be said, so that
he's doing fantastically. He's on a soft tyre compared to the Supers on City Posh. So I say that as he clips the wall going down the hill. That McLaren's still not looking stable at the rear end.
But if memory serves me correctly, from when I've been speaking to City Posh Blue, I imagine we're going to see him in at the end of this lap.
No, Zombie's been doing a bit of grass cutting. Oh, he's outbraked himself for this pit lane, so Zombie is in the gravel, making a few sandcastles.
Yeah, Nexus Cat's going well. Prototype Steph and switchback.
What's that switchback right behind Steph? He's trying to move on the outside again.
Oh, what's he doing there? Oh, switchback's well off. Now, to me, it didn't look like Steph changed his line there at all.
We mentioned the word patience earlier.
Yeah. Was it just a matter of patience? Like I said, like we've said on so many occasions now.
Oh. City Posh Blue was pitted, not fueled up that much. He's got less than half a tank and he's back out in P2.
Interesting strategy.
I believe his teammate also pitted, and he's put a bit more fuel in. He's down in P7, yeah, he's filled the tank as unsafe release.
Oh, interesting.
So City Posh Blue, another pit stop yet to come, but he will be very quick now with half a tank and fresh tyres.
Yeah. Well, I'm just wondering how many laps of fuel is going to be half a tank. Well, just under half a tank.
For most cars, I'd say 4 maybe.
Yeah.
If you're lucky. Well, McLaren is very good on its fuel. The Group 3 anyway.
But then again, I'm expecting what? Probably 19 laps, maybe 20.
I'd go for 19 because it's
So,
always over.
I mean, if that is the case, he's going for a 4-lap stint here, and he's going to end on a 5-lap stint. So,
well, SPY is in pit lane this time because he's got no fuel.
So City Posh Blue is your current race leader. I mean, switchback. Oh, he was drifting around that. Coming down to the back straight, unsafe is behind him. So let's talk a bit more about that incident there between Steph and switchback, because it didn't look to me as if Steph changed his line at all. He had the car in the middle of the track. Switchback tried to go the long way around him, and with the line that Steph had, I don't think it was ever going to work.
I think Switchback's tried to do the move he pulled earlier, but he's timed it a little wrong, gone that little early, because on the left there is a little bit of extra tarmac that they added for the V8 supercars a couple of years ago, so they could take the corner at the right-hander flat.
Yeah.
If you clip that, you can still go around the outside.
Oh, he's had a wiggle on that final corner. Unsafe releases on him.
He's clipped the grass before that, which is sort of pivoted his car to the right, which has sort of started all of that. Which, again, if he was a little bit more patient and not try to make the move straight away, probably would have got him coming up the turn too.
Yeah, I'm interested by the strategy from the McLaren boys. You got unsafe has filled the tank right up, so he's going to have to do minimal fueling. But he's now stuck behind switchback, and he definitely looks quicker than him at this point.
Well, I think switchback's head's gone.
Yeah, his head. Yeah, we know it. We know it will have been. His head's gone. 100%.
Driving as cleanly as he was earlier. There's slides. If you slide that Citroen, you just put yourself in a bigger hole.
Yep.
The rear tyres go off, and they have got a little bit of traffic. Zombie has done very well to keep out the way.
SPY is on the medium tyre.
He is, but he hasn't filled the tank, so he's still going almost a stop, I would believe.
Yeah.
He did start on the soft, he's gone supers, and now he's on the medium, so...
Interesting call. He's had a massive wiggle.
He's clipped that inside.
Oh, he saved that well. He's lost a second and a half.
To be fair, Lee's coming up with a good statement. It's been a good fight back from Steph.
It has been a very good fight back from Steph.
But I mean, Steph, you know what you're getting with Steph. He's a fantastic racer.
Bit of a Steph fanboy, you, aren't you? You're like with Steph what I am with City Posh.
I've had some fantastic battles with Steph over the years in F1, and there is no cleaner guy to race with at all.
We've got the final 14 and a half minutes left.
Like, there's only one thing wrong with Steph, and that's that he supports Spurs.
Yeah, there is that.
That sort of brings him down in your estimations, I think. So.
Oh god, yeah, massively down the ladder. Had he been an Arsenal fan, I'd probably prefer him to you, but...
I mean, you say that, but you've got Sai.
Yeah. Oh, you got unsafe release. He's still right. Unsafe release is still right on the back of switchback. He just can't find a way past. It's going to massively hinder his race here because he definitely is quicker than the Citroen in front.
Yeah, the Nexus Cat has found his way back up the P2.
Junkie Sport suffered big time after that incident.
He's past 15 minutes left to go. He's got 15 minutes off the first stint. He's got more in this stint. Like, that Beetle could be well on the way to looking good for this last stint.
It definitely could. City Posh got a 7-second lead. He's got Nexus Cats, who's got 1.1 seconds to Steph, who's got about the same distance to SBY. And then unsafe release just clattered into the wall. He's really pushing hard to try and get past the switchback. He needs to just try and stay as close as he can, come down the bottom of this mountain and try and get him down the straight, if at all possible.
You're a big fan of Lee.
I am a big fan of Lee, yes.
He's used the word kooky, as in kooky strategies, and I don't know how that sits with me.
Ooh. No, I'm just staring at my phone screen now, wondering what that means. I mean, I'm hoping it's just an autocorrect, and it's not some weird Lincolnshire word.
Well, Steph will be in the pits this time, which will let SBY go, and we'll see what he's got on those medium tyres.
Unsafe release. You can take a look at switchback. No, he's not. He still can't get it done. Switchback being stubborn, not letting him, not yielding position. He might go in. Nope. They're going to carry on. But City Posh Blue is 100% going to have to pit at the end of this lap coming. So he's going to go for a 5-lap stint at the end of the race on hopefully soft tyres. SPY's off at the first corner. He managed to regain his composure. Unsafe is closer to switchback this time.
Oh, Lee's responded. I don't think he's very happy with us.
Weird, odd, strange at the time. I mean, they're all words I do understand, Lee.
Unsafe trying the outside of switchback into turn 2.
Oh, a bit of contact again. Unsafe release must be screaming at the moment. Junkie Sport is closing, but not by too much. Donzo's not had the best of times at this stage.
I was going to say because it would be highly offensive, so I'll leave that out.
Well, I think Steph is going to be going to the end now. He's on fresh super soft tyres, got 3/4 of a tank. I imagine this is him to the end. You've got Nexus Iceman and Deluxe in the battle for P9. Not featured too much. Peatman struggled in P11. Comandy again not having the best of times. And then you've got Zom and Zombie in the pits. Nothing's happening with Zombie, so I think he's just sitting. He's been in the pits for 5.5 minutes. I think he's
pulled a 2.5 on Nexus Cats. And they're both going to have very similar fuel loads when they pit.
They definitely are. Now SPY's going to have to pit again, Switchback's going to have to pit again, Unsafe Release is, Junkie Sport is, Donzo is. The only person that isn't is Prototype Steph, who is 26.5 seconds off of the race lead at the moment.
If there's one person that with some fuel saving might make it, Unsafe might, but I'm not sure if the tyres will.
No.
Oh, Nexus Cats is in, City Posh is in. Oh, Nexus Cats is spun a pit entry.
Oh, no way. Oh, he's thrown that away. SPY's gone in as well. Switchback has gone through to... Can I get a camera shot of City Posh?
Oh, City Posh has got side by side with Switchback. I think Switchback has confused himself with his own strategy, as by my calculation, he should have been in on that lap.
Oh, City Posh, yep.
Oh, City Posh needs to get past quickly, but there's no room to do it now. He's going to have to wait until he's coming down the straight, unless Switchback makes a mistake.
Well, City Posh has got 4.5 seconds to SPY, who's behind on fresh super soft tyres. So if City Posh can just sit in the slipstream, switch back, get a good run down the straight, I mean, Switchback is going to have to pit this lap, there's no question about it.
Yeah, well, Unsafe Release did come in and box. He hadn't put much fuel in because he had a lot, but he's got on the super soft tyre.
Yeah, so he's only 8 seconds off the race lead as well. Donzo still needs to make a stop, and as does Switchback. So Unsafe Release at the moment is probably sitting in what is a net P3. So at the moment,
Cats dropped all the way to P7.
Yeah, gutting. Really gutted for Nexus Cats. He was driving so well. Unsafe Release. Oh, God. These McLaren boys need a serious well done after this. How twitchy that car is coming down that mountain. How on earth?
City Porsche side by side with Switchback down the straight.
Gets that done. Let's just hope Switchback sits behind sensibly, recognises that he's coming to the pits, doesn't need to try and re-overtake him.
Yeah, he does so.
There we go. City Posh Blue is your race leader.
However, SBY has gained, as City Posh was stuck behind Switchback for that lap. He's gained nearly a second, nearly over a second actually.
Well, he's on super softs as we said, so for the first couple of laps I think he will. There's 3 seconds is the gap between City Posh Blue and SBY, and we have 4 laps to go.
My England is failing me, but Unsafe Release is gaining on SBY as well.
Yep. This is going to be exciting, Pagani.
I mean, I don't want to mention City Posh for the rest of the race. I don't want to put any jinxes, any curses, anything on him. I just want him.
Right, well, Switchback has pitted, and he's come out just ahead of Nexus Cats. Donzo's down in P7 with Junkie Sport completed his last stop as well. Put a lot of fuel in the car. He's down in P8. Yeah, he's not had the best of luck here, Pete. Speaking of luck, we've got Deluxe down in P9.
Alpha boys just haven't made it work in this race. SPY in second, but
there we go. For everybody that thought the Alphas were just going to run away a bit this season, it's like I said, it is all very, very much track dependent. I must say, SPY has been incredibly consistent so far this season. I know we had the mistake earlier on.
Oh, you say that, but he's very sideways down the hill.
Yeah, okay, let's not talk about that then. Don't want to jinx anybody.
7 tenths to City Porsche, and Unsafe is nearly within slipstream range.
Oh, we just hit the wall as well.
Unsafe's done the same behind. But Lennon reckons that Alpha's got very little straight line speed, so if the McLaren can get close.
Yeah, you've got prototype Steph, 5.2 seconds behind. He can see Unsafe Release, but it's probably just going to be a little bit too far for him. Switchback, there's 2.7 seconds to Steph, so if he can salvage a P4, still wouldn't be the worst result. Junkie Sport's not going to be happy after the incident earlier on. Like I said, it looked minimal, but I mean, I only had a very, very last second shot of it, so obviously it'll all be looked back at. CJ in the chat saying City Posh definitely deserves this result. Top drive, yet. Like I said, it was awful seeing the McLaren boys struggle last week. It doesn't matter who it is, but it's never nice seeing somebody struggle like they did. But
well, I can't imagine Nexus Cats will be happy with this result.
No, I really wanted him to have a good result tonight. I thought he was going to. I'm not sure what's happened, because he was literally just behind Switchback, and now Donzo's jumped him as well. So I don't know whether he's made a mistake or there's been a bit of contact. But after Switchback pitted, he was literally right behind Switchback.
The gap between SPY and Unsafe's 1.1 seconds. That McLaren is closing.
Certainly is. We have got probably, what, 2.5 laps?
I keep getting 90s GT vibes seeing that McLaren.
Yeah, it's a beautiful car. For me, it's the nicest livery on the grid for the Group 3s.
Bit of Steve Soper and JJ Lato. Way back when.
Yeah, I don't know who they are.
Hashtag GT knowledge.
So, weren't they in the pet shop, boys? Well, Prototype Steph is managing the gap to unsafe, and he's also managing the gap to switch back. Oh, he's had a big slide. Switch back as well.
Just stay silent for the last 4 minutes.
Nah, I can't do that.
Every time we mention someone, they seem to have a bit of a slide.
Yeah. Oh, Junkie Sports round. Is he going to save it? Ish.
Yeah, there's going to be some angry heads after this race, I believe.
Yeah, this is what we spoke about earlier on, though. Composure, patience, everything. I'm not saying that move or anything earlier on was Junkie Sports' fault, but when you're competing for those top positions, you can't afford to let your head go. I've done it on several occasions.
Captain Knowledge is in the chat, by the way.
Captain Knowledge is in the chat. Who's that?
Steve Soper runs a BMW dealership in Lincoln.
Oh, here he goes.
Mr. Lee.
Oh, we've got a battle for P9. Oh, sorry, no, we did have a battle for P9. Yeah,
We now have a battle for P10.
Yeah, we did have a battle for P10.
Makes the move under luck.
Yeah, Peteman's up to P9. Junkie Sports all over the place. God, the traction. Just regain his composure, bring home the points. Like I said, it's not always ideal, but at the end of the day, those points are always important. We saw that at the end of the GT1 Constructors last season. 2 points was the difference.
Oh, it's getting tense. It's getting tense. SPY is closing on City Porsche. Unsafe is still a second behind.
1.5 laps to go.
Oh, it's all tense at the front.
It is.
Oh, City Porsche is very sideways down there. He's lost half a second. Gaffed out to 2 seconds. SPY's going to be in slipstream range at this rate.
He's pulled half a second back on SPY's clattered into the wall, I think. Oh no, he's managing to find time.
He might have done, but he's had a fantastic run out the elbow. Oh, this
Unsafe's
is
lost a second. So he's out of his clutches now. 1.6 seconds going into the final lap of the race. Will it be the McLaren of City Posh Blue? Will it be the Alfa Romeo of SPY? Or will it be the McLaren of Unsafe Release? Anything can happen.
The Luck has managed to make his way back past Nexus Iceman for P10.
There we go, switchback. He's getting closer to Steph. He's going to have a hell of a final lap.
The gap's 1.4 slipstream range. City Porsche might well have to defend this towards the end of the lap.
Certainly might. I'm just seeing if there's anything else going on track at the moment. There isn't, so we're going to go to this battle for the race lead. 1.2 seconds as they've come out of the first corner up the hill towards the start of the mountain. SPY has gone purple in the first sector by 2 tenths. He is absolutely flying. City Posh Blue, the gap is now under a second. He needs the final lap of his life.
I can't take my eyes off it. This is intense now.
A 40-minute race, 19 laps around one of the most challenging circuits on the game, in the world, however you want to look at it.
Just please don't do a Kyle.
Yeah, and drop it on the final corner of the race. As they start to come down the mountain now. They just need to hold it together.
Oh, that McLaren sideways.
God, he's losing time doing it like that, but City Posh Blue's 1.2 seconds as they go into the elbow. Nice and steady. He believes in his car. 1.3, 1.2.
I'm going to come down this straight.
Might be just a little bit too far. Unsafe Release had a good final lap as well, but it's not going to be enough.
Needs to spot his braking point now.
Yep. About the 150. He's be braking now. Gets that spot on. City Posh Blue comes round the penultimate corner. SPY's
got one more
6 tenths. It's now or never. It's going to be a little bit too late. But City Posh Blue round the final corner. SPY is all over the back of him, but from 13th to 1st, City Posh Blue takes the race win. brilliant job from City Posh Blue. What a recovery. SPY comes over in P2. What a drive from him as well. Superb job.
Back at Bathurst on that very narrow grid, he's had a fantastic drive.
What a race. What a drive as well from unsafe release. Bear in mind, this guy was really demoralised last week after those races.
The McLarens last week to the McLarens this week, completely different animals.
Completely different animals. I mean, let's be honest, I couldn't do what those boys have done tonight, I don't think, in that car. I do not enjoy driving that car. It's all going off for City Posh Blue. My granddad's in the great race, great commentary. Thanks, Charlotte, you taught them well.
I heard
Prototype
a in the background.
Prototype Steph comes home for P4. Good result for him. Switchback comes home in P5. Donzo in 6th. Nexus Cats, what would probably be described as a disappointing 7th. Junkie Sports, not going to be a happy bunny. But you have to take the good with the bad. And brings home P8. Peatman brings home P9. Disappointing for him. Nexus Iceman, all things considered, done pretty well considering he's back on the pad. Deluxe finished in P11 and Andy takes the final point of the evening. Didn't enjoy that one. And then you've got Zom finished just outside the points and Zombie in the pits.
I think Zombie's gone back out for another bike ride, I think.
Yep. There we go. No, he's finished, so he's just sat in the pits. Okay, well there we go. So that concludes. I'm going to take a screenshot of this as well. Up 8 places for City Posh Blue in that McLaren. Wonderful to see him doing that. Now I believe that's his first. Is that his first ever win as well? In GT?
In GT, yeah, he's been very close to an F1. I'm not sure about that.
I think he's won a couple in F1 maybe before, but I'm pretty sure that's his first ever win as well in FTRL. So, or at least in GT. So that's 4 races down, 4 different winners. So if that's not a reason to grip you towards this GT2 championship, I don't know what is. But nevertheless, thank you.
He's well happy.
Yeah, he's chuffed a bit. So I'm really pleased for him. And like I said, for those that are watching, you genuinely couldn't meet a nicer guy than City Posh Blue. I'm absolutely chuffed to bits for him. I tipped him to win a championship this season before the first race. And with the form he's shown tonight, you never know. But after the first week, he's got it all to do. But nevertheless, thank you all very much for watching, as always. And thank you to my lovely assistant, that's what I'm going to call you, Pagani.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Charlotte.
No. Oh, God, no. And then we've got... so next week, we have got Goodwood for the Group 4 cars, and then St. Croix A for the Group 3. So 2 completely different circuits there. That should throw up a bit of a mix. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching, as always. Please join us tomorrow night for the GT1 Championship, where we are at Fuji for the short version in the Group 4 cars, and then we end up at St. Croix B, which if last season was anything to go by, last time we done that track, it should be an absolute cracker as well. So yeah, racing coming out of every single orifice in FTRL, and we hope you are enjoying every single second as much as we are. So thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next week. Good night.